Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Persona 4 Arena Part 52. In the previous video we finished episode Adachi, so that means all we have left is, or kind of all we have left, is episode P3. It's actually time to become Persona 3 Arena. Alrighty, let's jump in and get started.
The death of everything.
Oh, it's this guy.
But also,
yeah,
the beginning.
You're the dude, you're the Akutsuki guy.
People have filled the world,
I vaguely remember
turned
you.
it into a void.
You know, it's been 8 years since I last played Persona 3, but I recognize you.
The only hope of salvation lies in ruin.
Wow, such a great speech.
You work in a zoo because that's one huge pile of shit you're pushing around. So, how'd that turn out for you, Dad? It doesn't matter now that you're dead as a doornail, does it? You wanted the world destroyed, huh? Isn't that right, you worthless pest? Fine, I'll do it. This shitty world with its shitty people and shitty lives will disappear, and I'll be the only thing left. After all, if the Father's fallen into darkness, then the Son must rise. Just kidding.
What?
What nonsense.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
What?
These constructs can only remain active within my red fog. Even then, they can only do so for a limited amount of time. If you have time to waste with worthless sentiment, hurry up and complete your preparations.
Ha! You've got no sense of humor. Keep up your whining and I'll have to kill you too.
That seems highly unlikely.
Such impudence. Take them. They are your pawns.
They're pretty well made. Fine, I've got the power I borrowed from you too. So now there's no way I could lose. Well then, time to make like a tree and turn over a new leaf or whatever.
That was awful. As one awful jokester to another, I have to let you know that was awful.
Huh. A puppet version of a puppet. I'll make sure you get the job done this time.
Now let's begin. For the sake of his world.
That's kind of neat. May 5th, afternoon. I am at the Shadow Operatives
I
lab.
finished going through Labrys's personality module and control links.
Fukasan's voice echoes to the machinery-lined room where she works as the operator. It seems that it'll be just a little more time until she'll be finished with her work.
I knew we could count on you.
I'm sorry that I asked you for such a big favor.
Oh no, I couldn't possibly stand by after something so important happened. But, is it really all right for me to be doing this? Aren't you all part of some kind of police organization now?
There's no need to be concerned. Even now that we've become the Shadow Operatives, this lab belongs solely to the Kirijo group.
Shadow Operatives. Special unit under the direct supervision of the National Police Agency, organized to deal with supernatural cases that the normal police would be unable to respond to. In other words, cases dealing with shadows. This is one of the laboratories under the management of the Shadow Operatives. The purpose of this place is mainly to analyze evidence gathered in shadow-related cases, analysis of shadow matters for scientific understanding, and planning operations. Another objective is the maintenance, inspection, and service for anti-shadow weapons such as myself. Since I am a new member of the Shadow Operatives and am classified as a weapon due to my mechanical nature, I periodically undergo maintenance at this facility. You've been a Shadow Operative for like a day? Directly after the inauguration of the Shadow Operatives, Mitsuru-san had a state-of-the-art packing... or is this Aigus or Labrys's perspective? I thought it was Labrys's. However, the one slumbering within this case... Okay, this is Aigus, alright. In this case is my sister, who is also our new teammate, Labrys, the 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon.
I finished investigating Labrys's mobility systems. All I have to do now is reboot her OS and perform some final checks.
Thank you. How is she?
She'd sustained some heavy structural damage, so I was worried, but thankfully none were critical.
Since my sister had been forced to push herself far beyond her limit during the events of the other day, her entire body had taken serious damage. I'm glad that she's okay. Fukasan's words caused me to sigh with
I
relief.
see. And what did you recover from her memory?
I'm sorry. I searched through it, but I found no records that would lead to finding the one behind what happened. If we want to pursue him any further, we'll have to wait for a report from intelligence, but it seems that will still take some time.
I see.
I see. Mitsuru-san tightened her fist with that quiet utterance. Culprit is someone capable of manipulating the data in my sister's memory. The possibility that they would make the mistake of leaving a trace leading to themselves is extremely low. Even when one knows the outcome, people often feel indignant when the last bit of hope is crushed. It's understandable. Our ability to find out who kidnapped my sister has been completely stymied.
Then we have no clues to go on.
Don't be so hasty. We might get new leads from intelligence, right?
Ever since that attempted airplane hijacking, we've learned that the Public Safety Division has been making some disquieting moves. If we don't make a move soon, there's no telling what they'll do to take advantage of the situation. We have to find a lead before they do anything.
Though Akihiko-san has known Mitsuru-san for a long time, Mitsuru-san's expression remains stiff as he tries to console her. But that's only natural. The Shadow Operatives are still in a delicate position with regards to where we stand within the National Police Organization. As a seemingly suspicious group founded by an outsider in dealing with crimes outside the capabilities of the normal police force, we often are met with cold stares from the people who should be our fellow investigators when we're dispatched on cases. The logic of such actions eludes me, but I cannot pretend that they do not exist.
I understand how you feel, Mitsuru-san, but we must solve one problem at a time. That is why we have gathered here today.
You're right. I'm sorry. Please work with me here in reviewing what information we already know.
Mitsuru-san implores us for assistance. Our gathering here at the lab today isn't just to hear about the results of Fukasan's tests on my sister. We've come to share and review the information we have to inspect the clues as closely as possible to get the culprit as quickly as possible.
The person behind this case first stole Labrys, the 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, while she was in transport.
Yes. The hijacking of the airplane you were on was a diversion used to conceal the theft of my sister, after which she was transported to Inaba.
Correct. The hijackers were subdued and captured, but we have reason to believe that their minds were under some kind of control.
Those who hijacked the airplane and transported the case had no memory of taking part in the crime. They did not recognize one another, had nothing in common, and were all ordinary citizens with no prior criminal records. They did, however, all claim in their testimonies that they saw red eyes. Though their interrogations are still ongoing, it seems that it won't be long before they are released. With all these points taken into consideration, it becomes apparent that this is no ordinary crime. Also, they would not be fucking with release. They'd be like, yeah, they confessed, we'll just throw them in prison anyway.
The culprit waited until he arrived in Inaba to turn Labrys on and fiddle with her memory. And then he threw her into the TV world, right?
Where one's heart and memories manifest themselves. As a machine, Labrys was able to control these memories in great detail. In other words, the enemy used her in order to set a trap for us.
When we entered the television world in pursuit, we defeated her shadow and made indirect contact with the culprit.
That person revealed that his goal was to steal our personas by making us fight each other, which would weaken our hearts and turn our personas to shadows. Once he'd accomplished that, he would combine them all so we could have even more powerful shadows.
Everyone falls silent. The mysterious person's motive was to gather and unify shadows. It's all too similar to something that those of us gathered here will never forget.
Shuji Ikutsuki.
The culprit's speech pattern is consistent with Ikutsuki-san's mannerisms. His inability to use a persona matches him as well.
But that's not possible!
That's right. We've confirmed Ikutsuki's death.
Or maybe there's someone out there besides Ikutsuki who still thinks the same way he did.
If so, then the world we strive for is still far away.
Mitsuru-san sounds as if she is in agony. Shuji Akutsuki. 3 years ago, he became fascinated with the fall and tried to bring about the end of the world using shadows. To Mitsuru-san, he is also the adversary that robbed her of her precious father.
Yamagishi, when Labrys
Spoilers.
awakens, can you give her a summary of the case from 3 years ago? I'd like her to know what went on while she was sealed.
I understand.
Can't you just stick that data into her memory?
I don't know, it seems kind of invasive.
If we did that, it would just become a piece of data to her. She needs to be told about it in order for her mind to understand what happened.
Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose.
She's human through and through, huh?
Also, I noticed something when I was checking her memories. The makeup of Labrys's memory field is slightly different from Igus's. Besides the memory area that she normally accesses, there seems to be a sub-network of some sort.
She has 2 memory networks?
Your mom lets you have 2 memory networks?
I think it was probably used to incorporate the feedback from her sibling units, but I still don't know for sure. That's why I believe it's safer to tell her in person.
All right, I'll let you tell her however you see fit.
Or it could be like, is the second memory like supposed to be the memories of the girl that she's based on or something?
Regarding Yakutsuki, I'm pressuring staff to hurry and review the information, including the newly discovered quarantine server at Ergo Research. We never knew about the server in question before now, because it had been cut off from the group's network. It most likely has information that normally would have never left Ergo Research, such as data on top-secret experiments.
Utsi-san could be involved in this case. Mitsuru-san's worry and irritation may be because she senses that possibility. We can all understand the pain she must be in.
By the way, what was the logic behind that whole midnight channel thing?
We're going to have to go back to you on that.
It's still unknown, but we'll have to send people to Inaba again. We're going to hold a meeting at headquarters tomorrow to discuss countermeasures.
Bro, that's the most obnoxious alarm ever. Suddenly, an alarm that notifies us of abnormalities goes off and reverberates throughout the lab. Mitsuru-san quickly uses a nearby control panel to contact the staff within the facility.
What's going on?
The surveillance system detected a rise in shadow readings. It's currently stabilizing around a level 3 alert, located in that town of Inaba.
What?
Looks like he's shown up already. That saves us the trouble of having to puzzle this out.
Yu-san and his friends are in danger. Mitsuru-san, please give the order to dispatch us.
All right, we'll leave at once. Yamagishi, leave Labrys to Kikuno and accompany us.
I understand. Well then, I leave the rest to you, Kikuno-san.
Understood. Lady Mitsuru, everyone, please be careful.
One of Mitsuru-san's personal domestic assistants, or should I say maids, Kikuno-san, answers. Kikuno-san and Mitsuru-san have a stronger bond than that of any ordinary servant and master, and she is another of the shadow operatives. Her words catch my attention for some reason. Please be careful. A very trivial expression of concern for our safety. Brushing it off as common courtesy would be simple, but I feel that she may be sensing something unusual regarding the situation that awaits us there. What could be causing this unease? Does Mitsuru-san know?
Oh, hold on, Igus.
As I am trying to decide on whether or not to look deeper into Mitsuru-san's state of mind, Fuka-san gets up from her operator's seat and beckons me over.
What is it? If we can put Labrys aside for a moment, are you going to be alright without having any maintenance done on you, Igus?
What do you mean?
I read the documents on your new equipment. At first I assumed it was referring to that large gun, but it's actually...
that. True. There have been no tests confirming that it is capable of being used in an actual combat situation.
Oh no.
But we face a powerful foe this time.
Did they give Igus a fucking
Is
nuke?
it even possible? If even one thing were to go wrong...
Fuka-san's face clouds as she looks at me. I can't be confident that I'll be alright, and I'm unable to tell her a pleasant lie to calm her down. In any case, I only pray that a situation that requires me to use my new equipment never arises. Both of us are tense as we prepare to depart.
Milady, a change of clothes has been laid out in your car.
I see. Thank you.
I've also prepared Akihiko-san's favorite protein drink, and Fuka-san has been preparing a playlist suitable for a road trip in her room.
What?
Huh?
That will be all, Kikuno.
Yo, what kind of jams do you think Fuka listens
Very
to?
well. Pardon me.
As expected from Kikuno-san, she is amazingly considerate as a personal assistant should be, but she can be too thoughtful at times. We learned this for ourselves when she came to accept us as people who are precious to Mitsuru-san.
Let's start this over, shall we? Shadow operatives, let's mobilize.
Thanks to Kikuno-san, the tension in the air subsides a bit, but we cannot allow our attention to wander just now. Upon completing our preparations for departure, we immediately make our way to Inaba. And then you pass Fuka the Ox Cord?
Why are we taking this car again, Mitsuru?
Well, we only did the one art asset for the limousine, I figured, may as well just use it again. Akihiko-san grumbles from the back of the Shadow Operatives, a personal limousine. I'm not sure how to put this, but I find that his feelings are justified.
Don't question it, Akihiko. There was no time to prepare a vehicle with the same equipment. Speaking of appearances, are you gonna wear that again?
Sure. There's a chance that we'll have to fight after all. These clothes give me the flexibility I need.
I mean, they have athletic wear.
Impressive, Akihiko-san. You never change.
Still, to think that the culprit would make a move so soon. We've completely lost the initiative.
Indeed. We need to begin taking measures right now. I only hope no danger comes to Narukami and his friends.
Says the guys that are about to get freaking crucified. Mitsuru-san seems deeply agitated. During the car ride, she seemed distracted. At times, she would flip through the thick file in her lap, only to suddenly give an order to a subordinate, and at other times she would stare intently at her watch as if lost in thought. Her usual regal composure is gone.
Mitsuru-san, why don't we just ask them to cooperate with us?
No, that'd be too easy, alright? We gotta make things complicated.
I agree. They seem pretty strong.
No, they're still young. If I asked for their assistance, it would waste time better spent in school. Worse yet, it would put them in danger.
You guys do have a middle schooler on contract, correct? Can you confirm nor deny this? You also have a dog on contract.
I don't want anyone else to have to go through that anymore.
Unless it's Ken, fuck him. We don't care about his education.
I understand how you feel, but they don't seem like the kind who'd listen. We were the same way back then.
Mitsuru-san falls silent. It's likely not a mistake to think that the sudden spike in shadow activity this time is related to the events of a few days ago. It has become apparent to everyone that another dangerous battle is about to begin.
We have new information. Kikuno sent me a message. I tasked Kikuno with reviewing Ergo Research's quarantine server, but it seems new evidence has come to light regarding Ikutsuki, who we discussed in our earlier conversation. According to the report, it seems Ikutsuki was performing an experiment on his own in the lab directly after the explosion. It's unknown if this is related to our current mission, but there was a record of a plume of dusk being used in the experiment.
A plume of dusk.
A plume of dusk, an object that blurs the line between matter and information and is fitted into anti-shadow weapons like myself. It forms the core of our personality modules and is what allows us to control personas even though we are machines.
So, what are the details of this experiment? Nothing good, I bet.
Ikutsuki was...
The limousine's engine suddenly roars, drowning out further conversation. It seems the road we are taking has begun to climb a steep hillside. As the car takes a winding road up the slope, I can look down through the window and see lush trees along the mountainside. For a moment, I thought I sensed a shadow reading. Could it have just been my imagination?
Yamagishi, tell me our current location.
One moment. I'm looking it up now. We're currently in Inaba Pass. We're almost at the target coordinates. What is this? Was that?
What's wrong?
A lot brighter than I expected.
What's happening? Driver, what's going on? Answer me!
Oh, has he got evil eyes? He does.
It's just like during the hijacking.
I guess.
On it! A barrier!
Are we trapped?
To be continued immediately. Or not. Oh, we gotta... Yeah, I guess you guys exist. The honor student. And we'll probably end up doing both of them. Well, maybe. This video might be a bit longer, probably close to an hour, because I don't have time to record 2 videos, but I have time to record 1 longish video. I don't know, we'll start with Ken.
Man, you were amazing.
Thanks for cheering for me.
You're a real hit with the ladies.
I'm gonna get going for today.
I don't buy it.
You better be this good
I
next
remember
time,
Ken.
too.
Leave it to me.
Remember how awkward the little squirt was?
I'm home, Koromaru.
There's some time until dinner, so I decided to leave the dorm again with Koromaru. This Gekkakan dormitory is where we live. It was briefly closed after Mitsuru-san and the others graduated. All the equipment from a few years ago was removed, of course, but with the increase in students at Gekkakan, they decided to reopen the dorm. Applied for a room as soon as I heard. The reason I did was because of Koromaru. He had been in Aiga-san's care, but at this dorm, he'd be allowed to live with me. Also, to be honest, felt like living here let me stay close to my companions who are fighting even now. Back then, everyone took turns walking Koromaru. Now it's my job. Past the nearby Naganaki Shrine is Koromaru's usual route. Koromaru is quite old for a dog, but as he trots along at his usual pace alongside our usual path, it makes me think for a moment that all the fighting back then was just a dream. Only when I'm watching Koromaru walk like this can I forget everything and feel a little at ease. We pass through the gateway at the entrance and step onto the shrine grounds. Since it's nearly sundown, there's nobody but us in this serene atmosphere. I sit down on a bench inside of myself. Koromaru notices though and immediately rushes over to nuzzle my leg.
It's nothing, Koromaru.
Even while I'm saying it, I'm sure Koromaru can see through my words. I can understand him in the same way Aiga-san can, but even I can tell what Koromaru is thinking. Pet Koromaru as he looks up at me with worried whine, and I put my hands in my pocket to pull out Shadow Operative's badge that Mitsuru-san had given me. Koromaru wears the same badge on his collar.
Even if she gave me this, I know it's just for show. I bet everyone else is working hard right now.
This morning I got a call from Sanada-san for the first time in a long while. It seems he'd just come back to Japan from a year-long training journey. Wandering the world, I know he was the kind of person who would put himself through anything in order to get stronger, but this is the sort of thing that you only hear about in stories. Sanada-san told me that he had gone to see Mitsuru-san directly after his return to this country, but he had been immediately dispatched to an emergency. He's currently busy with that, so he just said he would tell me more about his trip some other time. I know that being a shadow operative must be tough, but he seems so excited when talking about them, so it's like I get these pent up feelings inside.
I'm a member too, you know.
A member, yes, only as part of a secondary unit that only gets called out in extreme situations. Being part of a special suppression unit has a cool ring to it that I like. but the official Shadow Operatives are each given a unique number. For example, I guess Lon is member number 5. We don't have that. We're just auxiliary members. I haven't been called to action yet, and I doubt that I ever will be until after I graduate high school. After all, I did promise Mitsuru-san that I would try and live out my childhood as much as I could.
I'm just for show, too.
And following that promise to try as much as I could, I've been acting like a child on the surface, an average middle school student, studying, helping out with club activities, and even taking part in the student council. But I haven't officially joined any clubs, and the reason why is because I asked Mitsuru-san to call me for help if she ever needed me. I know that no organization under the police would be able to command an underage person, let alone someone in middle school. I'm only a shadow operative for show, and only a child for show. If this continues, I won't know when I'll ever be able to go back to who I really am.
Making my life my own is actually pretty hard. Sometimes I lose sight of what I'm supposed to be doing.
I actually really like this sequence, because like Ken is such a weird character in Persona 3, where he has like literally no fucking development, because he has no social link or anything. And he's just not that integrated into the main story after his like initial introduction. Now he does have a social link in the female route of Persona 3, but I never finished it. I think I did like half of it, and it got kind of fucking weird, and then I stopped. Is kind of what I remember. Because I mean, Ken he's an interesting character. They just like don't really do anything with him in original Persona 3 at all. So this is kind of cool, having like some extended sequence with him. I think back on the words left by the person who saved my life. Thought I'd come to understand them at one point, but as time passed, other emotions began to rear their heads.
It's completely dark now. We should head back home, Koromaru.
I wonder if I'll ever be left behind like this. Would things actually be better if I just forgot about everything? But could I live with myself if I had the power to fight, but did nothing with it? I've been thinking a lot about that. I stand up from the bench and look across the dark, quiet temple grounds. I won't reach an answer just by thinking about it. I know that, but at that moment, poor Marley suddenly barks at me. It's been a while since I heard him bark like this. He's been getting more and more mellow these days. What's that sound? Some rhythmic noise is approaching from up above. The wind becomes stronger and the trees around the temple begin to rustle. I look up into the sky and a bright light turns on high above. As my eyes adjust, I see a previously hidden black helicopter in the otherwise pitch black sky. Pitch black? Are you... what? It's like something out of a movie. Is it the military? No, that can't be right. As if to answer my doubts, a searchlight streams down, pinning shadows to the ground. Something's happened. That's my first thought. I don't know why, but for some reason, I sense elation rising up through my body.
Let's go, Koromaru.
He's arfed it. I grip my Shadow Operative badge tightly, then thrust it back into my pocket as I take a deep breath. I run towards the helicopter, and they ignore me. It's just a helicopter passing through. It's not for you, Ken. You're not the main character. But yeah, I like that actually.
Here we go! Feathered chain! Phoenix Rangers!
Featherman victory! So, you've come to fight me, Featherman!
Huh. Merlion, the evil forces have fallen! Stop here!
How dare you oppose me? Minion Links, get them! No!
Merlion, prepare for justice!
Don't be so sure.
Oh god, he's hyper beamed it.
Everyone, I've had enough of this! Ultimate Arrow! It's over!
Straight up fucking murdered that dude. This is a kid show?
And cut.
Perfect. What a take.
Thank you very much. Well done. That looked really great.
No, she actually killed that dude. He's dead now.
Let's take a 10-minute break.
When the director calls us out, the tension in the area dies away. I make my way to the simple tent used as our break room and take a sip of my drink. Sip of the sauce. My scenes for today are done.
I'm tired.
You're on a roll, Feather Pink.
Huh? Do you think so?
The directors had nothing but good things to say, too. Looks like this will have a positive effect on your main job. Speaking of your next shoot.
My main job. My real job's supposed to be studying in college. I wipe the sweat from my brows. My manager excitedly tells me about the schedule for my next gig. I'd always had an interest in fashion, so I started taking modeling jobs as a way to earn some pocket money. It's pretty tough since I've had to do things like pose in the middle of winter in just a t-shirt, but thankfully I've been able to get a steady flow of commissions now. Trying to manage both classwork and my job as a model was already hard enough when my manager applied for an audition for a live-action show without my consent, claiming that I should broaden my work horizons. You pay this lady? When I mentioned I had practiced archery in high school, it really got their attention. It all made sense to me when I learned that Feather Pink's weapon would be a bow and arrow, though as a result I ended up as a protector of Earth in a kids' superhero show starting this year. While my acting work makes use of different expressions and my modeling career lets me dress up in a lot of different clothing, it kinda makes me feel like I'm changing who I am too. It's insanely busy, but it's fulfilling and fun, and yet...
What's wrong? Something troubling you?
Oh, not really.
I checked my cell phone, but Mitsuru-senpai still hasn't sent me a response. I have tomorrow off, so I emailed her earlier asking if she'd like to spend some time with me and go shopping. She's been contacting me less and less often recently, and when she does, it's because of shadows. I am one of the Shadow Operatives, a group established by Mitsuru-senpai. I understand that she wants us to all be able to have normal lives, and she said that she wouldn't hesitate to ask for my help if she ever needed it, but it still seemed to me that she was taking everything on by herself, and that attitude didn't satisfy me, so I forced her to add me to her team. However, unlike Igus and the others official members, I'm part of a special unit that only gathers in emergencies, trusted with immediately subduing shadows by force. What did you call it? The auxiliary staff? Something like that anyway. It's wonderful that there have been no situations that call for us to be dispatched, and even if something like that did arise, the official Shadow Operatives are all excellent. There's no need to worry with the likes of Akihiko-senpai and Igus around, but...
Is it really that hard to just send back a reply?
Yes.
It's Golden Week, for God's sake.
It's really hard to reply to shit.
What's this? Don't tell me you've got some boyfriend trouble.
Oh, no, it's nothing like that.
We normally talk when we see each other, so I've never doubted my friendship with her. Still, when things remain unsettled, it's unsatisfying. Maybe I have to get on her case about taking everything on all by herself again. Huh, there's something loud going on outside.
What? What's this helicopter doing here? Is there a helicopter in this shooting script?
Huh?
As the sound gets closer, the tent's walls and roof begin to undulate with an intense wind. When I rush outside, I see the crew are all looking up and causing a commotion. When I look up, there's a black helicopter descending towards the ground, dangling a rope ladder. The lady in the pilot seat sees me and gestures towards the ladder. I feel like this is how you get kidnapped. Like, voluntarily. Oh. At that moment, it all becomes clear. I only know of one person who would do this.
I'm glad she came, but she's making too big of a scene.
I'm completely astounded by how the utter absurdity of the situation, but before I know it, I'm already running towards the ladder. Oh. Junpei. Okay, we'll do Lavras first, and... Depending on how deep it goes, we might be able to do Junpei as well. Or... Now, what kind of want to do Labrys first?
Where am I?
Blue skies and azure ocean spread out before my eyes. A gentle breeze brushes my cheek as I stand on a blindingly glistening beach, the sun shining from high above. The sound of the waves is calming.
What am I doing here? Wasn't I going through maintenance at Mitsuru-san's place?
I retrace my memories with a hint of bewilderment. Because I have been severely damaged in the recent battles, I was to undergo full repairs at the laboratory in the Shadow Operatives facility. I was placed in a protective case, and Fukasan explained what was going to happen while Aiga stood nearby.
Oh, this must be a dream then.
I vaguely remember the sensation. It's similar to something I've experienced a number of times before. Fukasan said that she would shut down my consciousness during maintenance, thus I shouldn't be able to dream. Is this a random phenomenon occurring during my reboot process?
I'm dressed like this again.
I'm wearing the uniform from Yasugami High. My arms are human arms. Since what's in one's heart can be reflected in dreams, this must be one of my desires. Still, I know it's nothing but an illusion. I understand, and I won't deny it any longer. This isn't really an appearance that I wanted to recall so soon after what happened yesterday. But it seems the me deep within my heart won't let me be that way. Still, as I gaze at this scenery, I eventually stop caring. Take a step towards the pier that juts out from the beach and then turn my attention to my internal GPS.
Guess there's no use doing something like that in a dream.
I don't need my GPS to know what this place is. Where I hit a certain wish in my heart sometime long ago.
It's so beautiful. If this really is a dream, maybe I can keep going.
Just while I think that, the pier under my feet crumbles and disappears without a sound. Just like that, the azure waters swallow me. The sun's light becomes dim, but I feel no anxiety. A mysterious sensation envelops me as if everyone is near me and I'm connected with everyone. Eventually the feeling of floating becomes stronger and I lose all sense of up and down. The sea changes into a field of countless lights in the darkness.
Now, where could this be?
It seems I have an odd guest. Oh? You're that misrepresent. No. Press stand? Ah, yes, Miss President. We met the other day.
I turn towards the voice and see a familiar woman in a blue dress, Elizabeth. She gave me a word of caution during yesterday's battle when I had been turning my eyes away from my true self. This is an unexpected reunion with a person who appeared before me like a storm and left with the same amount of force.
Oh, hi. Thanks a bunch for back then. I didn't get to thank you properly at the time.
You faced yourself and overcame the ordeal through your strength alone. And the feelings of those at the scene certainly helped as well. Still, my assistance was merely the cake under the ice.
Under the ice? I don't know what that means, but this place is beautiful. Where am I?
You're in hell.
This is a world within people's hearts. Since you are here, it's most likely that you are at rest in the real world. Now that you have gained a heart of your own and are nurturing it, I wouldn't be surprised if you were to wander here at times.
That all sounds pretty complicated. What are you doing here, Elizabeth?
To put it as Frank would, it is a secret. But if there was something I could say about it, I am yearning for an unseen power.
Huh? You want power too? Even though you're insanely strong already?
Oh, all this talk of power has reminded me of something. It seems you have obtained a new power through that battle earlier. I do not mean to be rude, but my adorable personality cannot restrain my infinite curiosity for such things. Would you show it to me?
Labrys, don't do it. She's gonna put you in the book.
Huh? Wait. Hey, hold on now. Are you saying you want to fight me right this minute?
My, how could I have forgotten? A boisterous brawl in this place would certainly not be elegant.
I'm not talking about where we are.
Worry not. I will prepare a worthy stage at once.
Wait, you'll what?
She flips open the book, oh god, with a fluid motion. As she does, a blue circle draws itself into the air and the scenery around us changes.
This place.
Probably not the best place to pick. There's no repressed trauma here or nothing. Tranquil like ocean area changes into a familiar place. This is the announcement room at the school that I had created. Beyond the glass in this red-stained room hang the corpses of my sisters I had destroyed with my own hands. Yeah, this got fucked up, Elizabeth. I feel a lump in my throat as the memories come back to me. I look down and see that my body has returned to its cold, white, metallic one. This is my true form.
Oh, are you a bit shaken? My apologies, but it seems we're being pressed for time.
Before I can sort out my emotions, the aura I feel from Elizabeth begins to intensify. She's coming.
Without further ado, here I come. Your fate is in the cards.
I mean, it's a little rude. You gotta admit. Labby, what do you do? Have we ever fought with you? Yeah, I guess we have. Yeah, we did during episode P4 once or twice, right? Oh my god. Okay. I cannot. I am not trying to do that. Alright, that was just, it was just a homie stock.
Oh no. Sorry about this. Oh my. Oh no. What's every at me? Oh no. Oh my. Oh no.
Labyrinth, I didn't do anything.
Pardon me. Oh my. Oh no. Here it goes. Oh no. Take this. Benefit. Spinning. I will shock.
Oh god. Friggin'
You were seeing.
No, this is fine.
Oh no. Here it goes. Oh no. Oh no.
No, she put me in the damn book.
Oh my. Oh no.
Opening my door. You're frozen.
No. Oh my god. I mean, I couldn't do anything at the start. It was like I was trying to mash to get out of the ice, and then it locked us into that very long axe slash.
Warren. I see. Remarkable. Impressive. Benefit.
What? Are you out of your damn mind?
Persona. Summoning. Impressive.
Oh my god, it's just so slow.
Here is some electricity. Your fate is in the cards. Summoning. Now, summoning! As I anticipated. Forgive me. Here is the moment. Oh no. Here it goes! Oh no. Here is some freezing. Oh my. Oh no. Here it goes! Oh no. From this moment, bloody. Oh no. Impressive. Oh no. I will shock you. Here is some freezers. I see. Remarkable. Oopsie daisy.
Oh god. How did that are you crazy? I'm a little mad. I just hate her X. I keep hitting the button, even though I know I don't want to. It's just so freaking slow, with like no range.
Oh nice. As I anticipated. Forgive me.
Negative penalty.
Oh my. Opening my door. Oh my. Here is some freezers. I see. Oh my. Oh my. From this moment. Oh my. Oh my. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my. Persona. Oh my. Oh no. Well done. Take this!
Yeah, just don't hit the X button and you don't fucking lose, because it's not the slowest attack in history.
Well done! I have indeed witnessed the power you have acquired.
While I was preoccupied with fighting Elizabeth, I remembered something. This is the place where I faced myself and gained something precious and irreplaceable. Yukun, Mitsuru-san, and all the others. Imagining their faces causes a mysterious strength to well up from within me.
Have I gotten stronger?
Elizabeth smiled. She calmly returned to the conversation we had been having.
Whether you can accomplish your wish and your heartfelt promise is up to you. If you can't do it, no one else will be able to do it for you. But from a different perspective, that means that anything is possible depending on you. Don't you think it could be perceived that way?
If I do it...
That is correct. Though, it would be most important to prioritize overcoming the ordeal that is coming your way.
Huh? What ordeal? Isn't this just a dream?
The ordeal that has made itself known quite close by. I bid you good luck.
Wait, hold on! What's this ordeal you're talking about? What do you mean?
The announcer room begins to fade to white and disappear into the distance, and I hear a siren-like sound. As if in sync with the siren, Elizabeth begins to grow hazy as well.
Wait! You have to tell me more!
My own voice is lost in the warning sound that crashes over me like waves. I just need to talk to her. Just a little more. The moment after everything goes white and the laboratory appears in my vision, an ear-piercing wailing sound fills the air. This is the real world.
Good. You're finally up and running.
Bro, turn the freaking alarm off.
I am terrible with machines.
It's too loud. I look towards his voice and see an unfamiliar man in a black pinstripe suit. The man looks frustrated as he fumbles with my case, disconnecting the wires leading from the terminal to my body.
So how about it? Can you move?
Who are you?
I'm Kurosawa, a police detective. Do you know what a police detective is?
Kurosawa, I have no memory of this man, but for some reason, I recognize his name. This must be information that was inserted into my knowledge database. Beginning personnel scan, matching iris and voice print, identified, Detective Kurosawa.
Oh, are you with Mitsuru-san and them?
Something like that.
As far as I can find in the database, he seems to be a person who can be trusted. He has a long history of private and public interaction with Mitsuru-san and the other Shadow Operatives.
I'll make this quick. There's an emergency. The car that the lady, that Mitsuru Kirijo was in, has gone missing.
Mitsuru-san? What do you mean?
An emergency? She's missing? Only after hearing this do I pause to re-examine my surroundings. That siren must be in response to these ongoing events, unable to get a grasp on the situation and only become more confused.
We'll talk later. We need to get to the roof.
As he speaks, Detective Kurosawa tosses me a small bundle. I open it to find the Asagami High uniform I've been wearing in my dream. Does he want me to wear this? Though I am still perplexed, I put on the uniform Detective Kurosawa gave me and follow him as he runs to the stairway. I see that his gun is drawn, and as we bound up the stairs, I desperately ask him the questions boiling in my mind.
Kurosawa-san! Are Mitsuru-san and the others okay? Who took them?
Go quietly. We've got to hurry here. We were being pursued, too.
I'm taken aback for a moment. The Shadow Operatives may be part of the National Police Agency, but their existence has been kept hidden from the civilian population. The lab's very existence should be hidden from ordinary people, and yet it has been attacked?
Enemies? Hey, I could...
Don't. The ones coming after us are human. On top of that, they're from public safety.
This only confuses me even more. What's going on here? The public safety group are at the very top of the National Police Agency Security Bureau. They should be on our side. Why would they be coming after us? I bite my lip in fear. I thought that I'd finally met people who understood me, and that I finally had a place where I belong. Yet now that I'm awakened, I'm being pursued by armed people once more? People who are supposed to be on our side at that? Painful memories of Yakushima return to my mind. I shake my head trying to clear to those thoughts, but it's not that easy. At that moment, Detective Kurosawa speaks up as if he can see through my emotions.
I know it has to be tough, but bear with it. That's how you live, by fighting.
His words set me out of my reverie. That's right, the world isn't always filled with things like this. There are people who understand me and accept me, and they're all staying right by my side. Had I not made my own decision to protect these people?
Thanks, Kurosawa-san. Say, want to take a shortcut to the roof?
Oh no. With that, I pick up Kurosawa-san and run ahead. I'm going to do everything I can.
Hey, what are you...
Oh gosh, she's gonna like bash through the wall. I jump and ignite the boosters on my back, then kick off the wall. It's a bit of a rough move, but I have determined that it's in our best interest to proceed as quickly as possible in this situation.
Here we go!
Kurosawa gets like his head banged on something. Immediate brain damage. We shoot at the staircase to the next landing, where I kick the wall again to send us up flying to the staircase in the opposite direction. I mean, it's pretty cool. I repeat this a number of times, rocketing us up the extremely long staircase and allowing us to reach the door to the rooftop in less than a minute.
You've got some nerve.
The G-forces would like definitely make my man barf.
Sorry, but...
It's fine. Looks like I can trust you to get things done.
He's gonna have like whiplash from having his head freaking jostled around. Detective Kurosawa seems pale, but he still stands up, and I see the strength of will in his eyes as he speaks to me.
From here on, this is a battle that only you can fight.
When he opens the door slightly, the chilly air from the outside rushes through the gap.
I'm putting their lives in your hands.
Kurosawa-san opens the door fully, and the wind whips at us. Bro, they're fast.
Go on.
How, like, I mean, shouldn't it have been like literally impossible for them to get up here that fast?
Gotcha! Okay! Kikuru-san, let's go!
Looks like we managed to get away.
We got out in time. It's nice to meet you, Labras. I'm Yukari Takiba.
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is another banger.
I'm Kanemata. Wow, so it's true that you're like Aiga's son.
Wolf?
Oh, and this is Koromaru.
Huh? A dog?
He's not just a pet. Koromaru might not look like it, but he can fight as well.
Beginning personnel skins. Everyone in this helicopter seems to be a member of the Shadow Operatives. According to the new data I was given during my repairs, they are all Mitsuru-san's friends since high school. These people are all comrades who have fought alongside Mitsuru-san and each other.
Takeba-san? You're dressed in a kinda interesting way.
Huh? Oh, this? Yeah, I got picked up suddenly for my job, and I didn't have any time to change. Bet I'm never gonna hear the end of this. Also, you can just call me Yukari. I hope we get along, Labras.
But to think that organization would come after us now at such an important time. If Kurosawa-san hadn't gotten that tip, we'd be doomed.
Hey, right. What's going on with those guys? Who are they again? Public safety?
Oh, that's right. You don't know.
Kin-kun politely explains the situation to me. Some people in the public safety department don't think well of the Shadow Operatives. When Mitsuru-san and the others went missing, public safety took advantage of this confusion and attempted to take control over the Shadow Operatives' headquarters. They had been trying to remove Mitsuru-san from her position and showed up at the lab in an attempt to confiscate me for evidence. To move this quickly after she disappeared, though, public safety must have some way of knowing what's going on within the Shadow Operatives.
They say Mitsuru-san set everything up. She would never.
I can't understand it either. All this about honor and adult circumstances is foolish.
Yeah, but there are some people in public safety who don't agree with that. Or else Kurosawa-san wouldn't have gotten that anonymous tip.
Oh, that reminds me. I wonder if Kurosawa-san's okay.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly.
Koromaru says that he's alright.
Huh? Can you understand dogs too, Yukari-san?
Too?
Well, no, but I've known Koromaru for a while, and that just seems like what he's saying. I'm sure Kurosawa-san will be just fine.
Of course, Koromaru-san's white fur reminds me of something. Snowy, my friend who I met on that southern island. I can tell from Yukari-san's words that all the other people here in this helicopter know each other very well.
So where are we going now anyway? We're gonna go look for Mitsuru-san and them, right?
Right. It looks like there was an increased shadow reading someplace called Inaba, and they were headed there. We'll go that way for now.
Inaba.
That's right. This could be continuation of the events from yesterday. An ordeal. Elizabeth's words from my dream echo my mind.
So gloomy. I'm sure Mitsuru-senpai's fine. She's got Akihiko-senpai, Fuka, and even Aigis with her after all. Oh, right. You're Aigis' sister, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. I was made just before her, though.
You seem so stiff. You don't need to be so polite with us.
I heard that you were an earlier model than Aigis-san, but you don't seem less advanced at all. You seem perfectly normal.
Yeah, I guess that's a compliment.
You fight with that axe you're carrying? Could I touch it?
What? The two of them are interacting with me quite normally, even though they know I am a machine. Even though they must know what happened in Inaba and about my past. That acceptance makes me happy. Koromaru-san is gazing intently at me too.
Yukari-san, have you been able to make contact with Iori-san?
A voice from the cockpit interrupts us. Kikuno-san, Mitsuru-san's maid, is in the pilot seat. She seems demure, but if she can pilot a helicopter like this, her skills seem to know no limits. But I've been told that Kikuno-san isn't a Persona user. Isn't it dangerous for her to come with us in a situation like this?
I completely forgot. Hold on a sec.
Kari-san pulls out her cell phone. It seems they are trying to meet with Junpei Iori, another part-time shadow operative and also a fellow comrade since high school. While Yukari-san is on the phone, I decide to ask Kikuno-san about the doubts I have.
Saikawa-san, you're not a Persona user, are you?
Please call me Kikuno. And no, I only have the potential towards the Dark Hour.
Oh, I didn't know you had that. Even the maids in the Kirijo family are amazing. So that means you can't fight shadows, right? Then ain't it dangerous for you to come along?
She's in a helicopter. If I have the correct information, then the grotesque monsters, known as shadows, our enemies, can only be defeated by people who can use personas. In other words, since Kikuno-san is an ordinary human, she could never defeat a shadow, even if she was the most proficient warrior in the world. If she ever encountered a shadow on her own, Kikuno-san would face immediate death. And yet she smiles warmly as she answers me.
There are more ways to deal with shadows than the direct method. We've never met in person, but I was involved in the operation to rescue you last time. We all do whatever we can to the best of our abilities to fulfill the roles we've been given. That is what it means to fight.
Wow, she's a true professional.
To be honest, I don't understand. True, Kikuno-san is helping us by piloting the helicopter for us. But if that's all it took, then someone could easily program me with the ability to fly the helicopter, and there would be no need for Kikuno-san to be exposed to the danger of having to join this operation.
I see.
Well, yeah, they didn't have fucking time for that, Labras, alright? Just let her do her thing. I can't think of any other words to say, and I look away from her. I end up meeting Ken-kun's eyes, and I feel a little awkward.
It's no use, he's not picking up. This is so important. Why now?
Yukari-san puts down her phone and turns to us again. Everyone's attention returns to getting up to speed on the current situation.
Oh well, we'll just have to begin our search on our own.
You know, Kikuno-san, I'm surprised you knew where we were without having to contact us at all.
I traced the GPS signals from your cell phones. We're still partners with the police force, so it's no problem to do that in an emergency.
Isn't that like an invasion of our privacy, though? Yeah, no one cares, Yukari.
Then again, we've just seen how even that doesn't always help.
You mean about Junpei-san?
It's like he's going out of his way to inconvenience us.
I don't think that's true. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but like, I don't know. That just seems like Yukari being aggro towards Jumpy. Yukari-san sighs with an exaggerated expression. As I reflect that this Junpei-san appears to be something of an odd person. Fucking got him. Yukino-san taps her armrest as if remembered something.
Dear, I almost forgot. Labra-san, please review these documents until we arrive at our destination.
Bro, you telling me she's got homework? With that, Yukino-san hands me a folder.
Fuka-san asked me to tell you about this, but under the circumstances, would you please look through the material on your own?
As I flip through the documents in the thick file, I notice that certain names appear again and again. Mitsuru, Akihiko, and the names of everyone here. What is this?
It's a summary of the activities that took place 3 years ago.
3 years ago? You must mean... I see. Whoever's behind what's going on is definitely connected to those events.
3 years ago refers to the incident leading to Mitsuru-san and the rest meeting one another. I haven't had the chance to go over it in detail, but supposedly it's the case that became the impetus for Mitsuru-san to establish the Shadow Operatives. And the bonds that they have formed among each other, they were nurtured through the battles they took part in back then. Such deep connections look radiant to my eyes. I decide that it's important that I learn more about what happened then, as important as learning more about who or whatever is behind the events going on now. I just wanted information on it. I could easily just transfer that data directly into my memory, but by actively reading it like this, I won't be able to understand what happened. Her thoughtfulness of treating me the same as a person makes me happy. Yukino-san glances at me once more and nods slightly as if in approval.
I think it looks good on you. A proper appearance is important when going out on a grand stage.
Does she mean the uniform I'm wearing? Oh, I get it. She must have been the one who prepped the Yasagami uniform that Kurosawa-san gave me. Her sudden compliment is a little embarrassing, but I can't help but smile. I mean, this uniform to me, it's proof of my connection to Yu-kun and his friends.
Thanks!
Yukino-san reacts with a small smile, then produces some other items.
Yukari-san, Ken-san, I have acquired evokers and suitable weapons for you.
Wow, thank you! This would be the best for me!
Ken-kun takes a spear from Kikuno-san and sits back with a satisfied expression. The spear is longer than Ken-kun is tall, but he seems confident. Wouldn't such a weapon be too unwieldy for him to handle? Yeah, but he's like a young kid in an anime, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Kikuno-san, what is this?
Kikuno-san hands Yukari what appears to be a large pink bow that perfectly matches the suit she's wearing. Upon seeing it, Yukari-san looks baffled.
It's the ultimate arrow! It's so pink.
I acquired reference material from the publisher and had it made. Don't worry, it's more functional than the prop on your show.
I'm pretty sure that makes it the best bow ever created, but...
I don't think so.
In actual combat, I thought that using a form factor you're comfortable with would be best.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you to have a logical explanation like that.
Was my arrangement unnecessary?
I mean, I would think she's probably pretty good at using any type of bow at this point.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. No, it's fine.
I like it. Can I see it for a moment?
As Ken-kun reaches towards the bow with interest, I sense the helicopter tilt slightly to the side.
We're circling around. Please hang on to something.
The helicopter leans more sharply as Kikuno-san speaks. It seems that we need to take on more fuel before we reach Inaba. I reflect on Elizabeth's words as I look down on the view spreading out below us. It reminds me of that mysterious sea-like place. Okay, that was like a perfect to be continued. I just want to save the damn game. The air in the helicopter is heavy. Upon reaching the last known location of Mitsuru-san and the others, we immediately see that the guardrail is broken, as if a car had smashed through it. We looked down the cliff and discovered a black vehicle below, unmistakably Mitsuru-san's limousine. There were no skid marks on the road that indicated braking, and the car's body was seriously damaged. It appeared that it had been going at a very high rate of speed when it hit the barrier. We're already like almost, we're so freaking long. Everyone paled in an instant, and we were all at a loss for words, but the driver was the only person in the vehicle, and though he was injured, there were no traces of blood from anyone other than him in the car. We wondered for a moment if the others had been able to leave the vehicle on their own, but if they had, they would have tried to contact us. It also seemed odd that they left an unconscious and injured man behind. Furthermore, there were no footprints around the vehicle at all. We did another search for their GPS signal, but there were no signs of their whereabouts. That left us with only one conclusion.
To think about it. But does this mean that they've been captured?
Let us be optimistic and assume that they're still alive. If they were captured, then the enemy values their lives and will do no harm. We do have a chance.
I carried the injured driver from the bottom of the cliff back up to the road. Kikino-san requested a vehicle to transport him to the hospital under the Kirijo family's care. Kikino-san made this decision since he wouldn't have been able to explain what happened to a normal ambulance. Also, it's possible that the people from public safety would take him away if we reported this to the authorities. Kikino-san asked the personnel who arrived with the transport to try and ask the driver what might happen when he regained consciousness. That will likely be difficult, however. If this is similar to what happened last time, the driver would have no memories of the events, much like the people who captured me and transported me to Inaba last time. However, there's no guarantee that the same had happened to the limousine driver. There's also no guarantee I'll ever get to save this freaking game. Not long after we were back in the helicopter, which takes us to where we are now. To be honest, everyone's at a loss for how bad the situation is. King-kun tries to change the topic in an attempt to divert us from our worries.
It's amazing that you know how to pilot a helicopter, Kikuno-san. I heard that it's hard to hover.
Or it's not
in the
even really
mountains.
saving. It's just
Did
like,
you train for that?
if you exit out before it does the to be continued, it just like resets you entirely. So like, this is just the one video I'm recording for today. So if I were to like end the video and then stop playing the game, then I'd have to restart from the beginning of Labrys's thing.
Only a couple of years ago, but I have taken part in an assault operation involving a helicopter.
Which isn't that big a deal, because there you can, like, you know, skip the text and everything, or you can, like, turn on the skip, because it considers the text as unread, but you can turn on the, you know, skip unread text anyway.
You were in an assault with a helicopter? Where?
It's like, there's, like, no way to, like, you know, I mean, you can go back to the main menu, but I'm pretty sure that just, like, you know, resets your progress entirely.
Just a high school dormitory.
Huh? Oh yeah, I remember that.
I decided to learn how to pilot in the event that if someone attempted the same move, I would be able to respond properly.
My understanding has been renewed. It seems that being a maid is a very serious and very difficult occupation.
Oh, damn.
Only in anime land.
Well,
I mean,
finally got in touch with
it's not an
Junpei.
easy occupation
I don't know
even
why, but he's
normally.
already at Yasuo Inaba Station, so I told him to stay there.
But most people don't expect their maids to, you know, fly them around and fight monsters.
In any case, we should head to Inaba too. We might find some kind of clue there.
Mitsuru-san's group had gone missing before sunset, and it's almost midnight now.
Whoever did this must be the same person who kidnapped Labrys-san. It's unthinkable anyone else would be able to do that. The question is what he intends to accomplish by kidnapping them.
Kin-kun flips through the reports on the events of the case up until now. Seemingly lost in thought, what is to be gained by kidnapping Mitsuru-san this time? At that moment, heavy static flickers across the video displays within the helicopter.
The strong win, while the weak.
Alright, we've seen this.
Tonight.
Normally I might rewatch it again, but like, just want to freaking save the game.
Hey, what was that just now? Weren't those the Persona users in Inaba? It showed Mitsuru-senpai and the others, too.
I read the case records. If I recall correctly, was that the Midnight Channel that was being broadcast in Inaba? I was on it too, but it wasn't like that last time.
All of us in the helicopter are utterly confused. Who would broadcast something like that, and why? The P1 climax, it's obviously a continuation of the fighting tournament. Suddenly the monitor switches to another feed.
Yoo-hoo! Have you been well, Labi-chan?
General Teddy? But I thought I already...
General Teddy. In the recent P1 Grand Prix, the one calling itself General Teddy turned out to be my own shadow. But I accepted my shadow and gained the power to use a persona. But if he's on the screen again, then General Teddy ignores my confusion and continues.
There's no way I'd go away so easily. I mean, a P1 without me is like a tuna sandwich without the tuna.
Or the sandwich.
He can hear us? Isn't he that weird persona user named Teddy?
He's not weird, you're weird.
No, he must be the General Teddy who hosted the fighting tournament last time. The record said he'd been eliminated, though.
God, you're such a nerd.
General Teddy, where did you take Mitsuru-san and the others? If you don't give us a good answer, you're gonna pay!
It's past your bedtime, Cubby. If you're gonna keep giving me lip, I'm not going to explain anything.
Explain?
That's right. I mean, the three of you are very important guest stars in the P1 Climax, after all. So you'll participate, of course, right?
What? What are you after?
If you value the lives of the hostages, you yapping pup, you don't have any choice but to participate.
Huh?
The P1 Climax. It's the end of the world. One-on-one death match that's worthy of the name Climax. And best of all, if you don't win the one-on-one tournament to the finish within the hour, the world will end. No punches pulled this time. I'll make myself clear so that no one misunderstands. This will not be taking place within the TV world. It will, in fact, take place in the reality which you occupy. Enjoy it while you can. Alrighty then. Time to show off how that special stage is going.
The video feed switches to something else. Like I see, I thought the crucifying stuff was part of the original video. I was surprised they hadn't mentioned that. Or they were so nonchalant about it. Yeah, we've seen that. Motherfuckers, just let me save.
Was that Mitsuru-senpai?
Sonata-san, Aiga-san, and Fuka-san too!
What will be the fate of our captured queen and her loyal minions? Oh, and this is a no-fly zone. We don't have any room in the parking lot for that thing, so you'd better start walking to the battleground. As a little incentive, Persona! Kintoki Doji! Throw him a tomahawk!
My man said it. My man said Persona. With that last command from General Teddy, the monitor turns off. After a moment of silence, Kikino-san shouts from the cockpit.
No. There really is a missile coming our way. Evasive maneuvers. Brace yourselves.
A missile? Ah!
As soon as Kikino-san shouts, the helicopter makes a sharp turn and we're all thrown to the side. There's a deafening roar and the helicopter shakes madly, but recovers.
Are we hit? It barely missed, but there's a good chance that it will still detonate.
It exploded! Wait, it's a firework?
I mean, I can still, like, fuck things up. In the moments after the explosion, General Teddy's face was drawn in the night sky with colorful sparks. He even managed to capture his image, taunting us with his tongue sticking out.
He obviously missed on purpose. It was most likely fired from the direction of Inaba.
That is not funny at all! Is he trying to start a war or something? Wait, what is that?
There's something in the distance. It's huge!
Yukari-san points towards the shape of a gigantic building stretching towards the sky. Something red is writhing around that bizarre structure, trying to envelop the town below it. It's red fog?
I'll zoom in.
Kikino-san adjusts the monitor that had just been displaying General Teddy's laughing face to show us the enormous structure up ahead. I notice Yukari-san and Kin-kun both tense up when they catch sight of it.
No way. This is just like
Tartarus.
Searching data for Tartarus, results found. A labyrinth that only appears during the dark hour and a breeding ground for shadows. It was also the place where a powerful being was going to descend upon the world to bring about destruction. The documents in my hand have a page dedicated to it as well. What I read there confounds me. 3 years ago, Mitsuru-san and her companions were in high school. Something happened there. All I can gather is that they fought desperately in a tower called Tartarus that resembles the one outside. As the red fog grows thicker, the building that Ken-kun and Yukari-san referred to as Tartarus begins to disappear from our view.
I'm sorry to do this, but I have to withdraw before we're shot down.
But we've come so far!
If they fire another one at us, I won't be able to dodge again. Even if it's only a firework, a direct hit can still bring us down.
Hold on, Kikuno-san. Can you drop low enough somewhere so we can get out?
There's no way. If we land, we'll be sitting ducks.
No, once we're out, you get out of here. You don't need to land.
What are you saying?
Please, do it!
We're going to be like action heroes.
General Teddy asked us to come on foot. We'll manage somehow.
Understood. I'm looking for a landing site. There appears to be a large shopping center nearby.
While dodging explosions from the missiles flying mercilessly towards us, the helicopter nosedives, plunging us towards the ground as we move closer to Inaba.
Labra-san, please take this. It may be of use. It contains the data that was taken from the Ergonomics Research Laboratory's top-secret files. The creator's name is Shuji Ikutsuki.
Shuji Ikutsuki? The name was also in the documents that Kikuno-san had given me. He betrayed Mitsuru-san at the last moment 3 years ago and revealed himself as an enemy. Ever since the death of Koitsu Kirijo, the patriarch of the Kirijo family 2 generations ago, this man took the lead in all the terrible events relating to the shadows. That is how dangerous this man is, or was. The document also says that Ikutsuki took his own life.
The file name was Project Puppet Master. I'm not entirely sure if that's a code or a description of the project.
Puppet Master? Could that be something to do with me and Aigis?
I was only able to decrypt a portion of it, but it seems to be data on an experiment involving a plume of dusk.
An experiment with a plume of dusk. So, why are you giving this to me?
It may assist you in determining the enemy's identity. Actually, I found traces of an unauthorized attempt to access this file from outside of the Ergo Research Network. I investigated this and found that the requests made to break in originated from this vicinity, likely from within Inaba itself.
Huh? So someone in Inaba knew about that research before all this started and was looking for it?
Kikuno-san nods silently. Of all the files on the quarantine server to go after, if this one was specifically targeted, then the hacker must at least have known of its presence there. The cyber attack wasn't done by some ordinary hacker who broke into the server and was looking around out of curiosity, which means that the hacker is probably either the culprit himself or someone connected to them.
The firewall prevented the intruder from accessing the file, but the attempted hacker didn't even try to cover their tracks.
What? Who would do this?
The hacker didn't even attempt to cover their access to the server? Could that mean that they wanted someone to know about the existence of this file, even if they failed to access it? That doesn't make much sense. Putting aside whatever doubts we have, Kikuno-san continues on.
It was only in fragments, but the name Sho Minazuki appears many times in those files.
Who is he?
Sho Minazuki? I don't know that name. Could that person be the culprit? At the very least, there's no mistake that this person is deeply related to the case.
I'll contact you once we crack the encryption, but in case it becomes difficult to transfer the data to you, I'll give you a copy.
Then I'll download that data into myself and take a look at the parts that you've managed to decrypt.
I feel like couldn't you decrypt it?
That would be for the best.
With your computer brain?
Gotcha. Thanks.
Kikuno-san hands me a memory card. I insert it into my memory slot and save the data onto it into my internal memory. Just as Kikuno-san says, most of his experiment records, one file remains that cannot be read. Project Puppet Master. What's in that file?
We'll be over at Junes Shopping Center in a moment. Everyone, prepare to disembark.
Hold on, over there. Isn't there someone on the rooftop?
We all peer into the distance. Beyond the haze of the red fog is Inaba's largest shopping center. My search reveals that the place belongs to a chain named Junes. A blurry figure can vaguely be seen on the roof. Yukun? For a moment, I think of someone I know well, but the height and physique of the shape on the roof doesn't resemble anyone I know. Kin-kun raises a pair of binoculars and attempts to make out the figure's face.
That's impossible! Huh? What's wrong? It's... Ikutsuki. Huh? No way!
Shuji Ikutsuki, the name leaves me at a loss for words. Also, like, we really need to stop in the next, like, 5 minutes. Please, game. Perhaps he is mistaken. I open the side door of the helicopter and a strong gust of wind blows in. I ignore the wind and lean out to get a better look at the person on the roof. Man, they haven't even, like, called an alto yet. The helicopter is suddenly attacked from an unexpected direction, and the vehicle sways alarmingly. That wasn't another missile. When I look again, I see another shape standing near the figure on the rooftop. I knew it.
We're under attack by a persona!
Yeah, I guess they just, like, skipped her calling an alto? Now think about it. Because that would have happened before all this. That doesn't make sense. According to the record, Shuji Ikutsuki was never able to use a persona. Is that man on the roof truly this Ikutsuki person?
The enemy's preparing for another attack. Incoming!
Before I can raise an objection, Yukari-san fixes her eyes on the enemy and draws her evoker. As expected from someone who had been in an actual combat, or had been in actual combat for a whole year, she is quick to act.
Persona!
Yukari-san's finger flexes around the trigger of her evoker, but in the instant before she pulls it, Yukari-san's persona appears, creating a whirlwind around the helicopter that repels the attack. I also would, like, fucking send the helicopter into a tailspin.
What? I didn't even use my evoker yet.
Seeing Yukari-san so bewildered sends a chill down my spine. Being able to summon a persona without the necessary tool to aid in summoning, Mitsuru-san and Akihiko-san reported a similar unpleasant experience when inside the TV world. But this isn't inside the TV world, and outlandish and threatening as the situation is, there's no doubt that we're in the real world. General Teddy's words come back to me.
Oh, but it will.
Don't tell me, this fog that's enveloping the town is the same fog on the other side of the TV?
This is fun. What was that?
A new voice suddenly reaches my ears. Who was that? I look around in bewilderment. Did anyone actually talk? Am I hearing things? Kin-kun's shout snaps me out of my thoughts.
Yukari-san, he's winding up for another one. We're getting off, Koromaru.
Yukari-san still looks confused, but Kin-kun notices something and unbuckles his seatbelt with his spear at the ready. By this time, the helicopter has descended close enough to the roof of Jeunesse that people and dogs can easily jump down. Koromaru-san growls and another persona appears. At the same time, Kin-kun leaps out of the cabin, stabbing at the enemy persona, closing in on us. Koromaru-san's persona and Kin-kun's spear both hit the attacking enemy at the same time, and Kin-kun drops to the roof unharmed.
It seems you're always taking on the responsibility of saving others, Yukari-san.
Seriously, it's like, again? Really? But I'll take this one. After all, I save the world on a weekly basis.
Koromaru-san and Yukari-san drop out of the helicopter and nimbly land on the roof. Amazing. Their combat abilities are equal to those of weapons like Nier Aegis, even though they are secondary members of the Shadow Operatives, used only in times of emergency. Seems as if they've been on the team this entire time. I quickly ready my axe and follow them.
Yukari-san, everyone, please, save Lady Mitsuru.
Then, to be continued. You motherfuckers. You're actual motherfuckers. Alright, I gotta stop. I'm out of time. It's clear that they're just, like, never gonna give you a fucking save. Because, like, if I go back to the main menu, right? It just fucking, like, will restart me at Labrys, like it always does. Unless maybe it's different here? Yeah. No, wait. Did it actually say so? It saves some of our progress. Alright, anytime I've done that in the past, it just will restart you back, like, right here. So that's odd. Sorry, that's not that big a deal then. Okie dokie, I'm Extra Cheese 87. Stay tuned for the next part, and bye, guys.